9 times out of 10, when someone wants to do a live stream, they will add themselves to the audio just to actually get the stream going. But in my case, I think what you may refer to as a doofus. Yes. Anyway, my name is Damien, the Tall Friendly Atheist Dad, host of the Tall Friendly Atheist Dad podcast, and welcome to part 20 of An Atheist Reads I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist by Frank Turek and Norman Geisler. Hit the music.
So far from lies and hypocrisy, returns to energy, and silence becomes breathe. Don't ask me the reason why. Just say I only dream in black and white. Future's nothingness, but I can choose another end. Opening my eyes, and you begin in my life without emptiness to feel. I am sure of myself, no mercy until the end.
And just as a little bonus, I'm going to give you a little bit of a celery ASMR. And as an added bonus, the warm reading sun is now going to use some carrot ASMR. Healthy snack ASMR. You gotta get the crunch going. Yes, a nice crunch. Please don't rip my earphones out. So yes, this is obviously family. Okay, thank you. Enough ASMR. Yes. Obviously, we are a family-friendly channel, and that's my family. That's my son deciding to get in on the ASMR action. Anyway, yes, this is it's a very cold evening. I just got back from outside. It's about 8 degrees outside, and yes, I'm actually inside in the warm reading studio with the warm homework sun doing some homework behind me. That is the heater in the background, so if you hear a bit of a buzz in the background, that's the heater, because apparently my family, the rest of my family can't survive without heat. What? Yeah.
Shut up.
So anyway, this is, I never thought I'd get this far, but this is part 20 of me reading I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist, and I haven't exploded yet. I really don't know how I've done that. But yes, so if you do have the book on you, I'm going to start on page 124, under the, which starts with the heading, Give Time and Chance a Chance. Oh, sorry. But the music just then was from Victim of Illusion, one of my favourite bands. Head on over to victimofillusion.bandcamp.com, pick up their album Invisible Light for a very reasonable price. And while I read, I will have in the background Xavier Radio's video, The Drive-Through Dances Past, Mania Toto Otago New Zealand 2019, just for something to look at and watch. You can see I've already given it a like, so head on over, give it a like. Oh, Xavier Radich. Xavier Radich. Whoops.
Daddy,
Yeah,
I love you.
love you too. Okay, here we go. Here's the video. And this is me doing the reading. So page 124, Give time and chance a chance. 3, 2, 1. Not so fast, say the Darwinists. You've overlooked time and chance as plausible explanations for how life spontaneously generated. Alright. I wish I didn't do this so fast into the proceedings, but when Frank Turek... I should have had a counter for how many stupid things Frank Turek writes. Actually, I was listening to a video by a genetically modified skeptic earlier today, which was countering a Frank Turek video, and oh my god, I would say I've lost a lot of respect for Frank Turek, just because the stupid things he says. Anyway, here's music from their Victim of Illusion. There you go. Have some Victim of Illusion while I talk. But no, so Darwinism does not say that life spontaneously generated. That would actually be Christians. Christians are the one who say life spontaneously generated. All it took was a bit of magic words and, with a bit of modelling of some dust, and we're done. But no, life did not spontaneously. Life is a process of a large number of complex interactions that we don't quite fully understand. But yeah. And time and chance are not plausible explanations. They form part of the framework for how life came about as a natural process, not as explanations themselves. So within one sentence, Frank Turek gets two things wrong. Well done, Frank. Well done, you. Anyway, back to the book. Give time more time. Darwinists dismissed the conclusion that intelligence was necessary for the first life by suggesting that more time would allow natural laws to do their work. Give it several billion years and eventually we'll get life. Is this plausible? Let's go back to Mount Rushmore for a minute. Darwinists assert that science is built on observation and repetition. Okay, suppose we observe and repeat an experiment where we allow natural laws to work on rock for the next 10 years. Will we ever get the faces on Mount Rushmore? No. Frank. Oh, Frank. Wow, this is bad apologetics 101. This is firstly, there is no guarantee that after several billion years life would appear, because life as we know it is partly in response to the environmental conditions of the time. So firstly so for example, the other planets have been around for billions of years as well, and there is absolutely no hint that there is intelligent life on those planets. So it's not necessarily given that if you have billions of years you will get life. No, you do need the right conditions, and this is something that the Urey Miller experiment helped confirm. But we also look at comets. Comets from outer space have amino acids on them.
Amino acids?
Amino acids, yes. The building blocks for life can be found on comets from outer space. And I think we've had sent probes onto comets to pick up amino acids from there. So yeah, Frank is completely wrong there. Now, where was it? Darwinists dismissed the conclusion that intelligence was necessary for the first life by insisting that more time will allow natural laws to do their work. No, we dismissed the conclusion that intelligence was necessary partly because the people that insist that intelligence was necessary tend to be pushing a religious line. And Professor Dave Explains actually is going through, he's exposing the Discovery Institute because far from being a neutral advocacy group, they're actually basically religious propagandists who barely conceal their religious propagandization.
Professor Dave Explains.
Yes, I love Professor Dave Explains. I'll give him props. And no, we're not necessarily saying that billions of years guarantees life. Billions of years under the right conditions, with the right boundary conditions, and with the right chemical composition, may kickstart the process to life. But given that babies are created every day in the womb, and no deity is involved, I would have to say that what creationists say intelligence is needed actually happens, a million times a day without intelligence being needed, and as a result of natural processes. And the Mount Rushmore example, I've had a creationist come to me and go, look, what if they find Mount Rushmore on a thing? Well, the problem with the Mount Rushmore, come in, it's all right. The problem with the Mount Rushmore analogy is that we actually know who created Mount Rushmore, why they created Mount Rushmore, and we have the design permits, and we have the media reports about it as well, like everything about Mount Rushmore. Yes, you wanna? All right, come in. Special bonus ASMR with Hello Panda. This is the Warm Reading Sun with Hello Panda. There you go, that was another. Yeah, so Mount Rushmore is actually a really bad analogy because, we know exactly who did and why they did it, and Mount Rushmore is not a self-replicating organism. So struck out in there as well. And yeah, so this is just a really creationists, if you're listening to this, it's a really bad argument. Please don't use Mount Rushmore as a... If you're going to... I would actually say, if you're going to try to prove intelligent design for life, firstly, don't mention God. Because as soon as you mention God, you will, because the problem is that you're trying to drive a theological... You're trying to drive a Protestant Trinitarian bus through a front door of open inquiry. Don't do that. If you want us to listen, don't try push the religious values on top of the intellectual exercise. Secondly, try prove the impossibility. And don't go, scientists haven't been able to create it yet, therefore it's impossible. No. It's like with lightning, nowadays we can create lightning in a cage. Does that say that up until we could create lightning in a cage, that lightning was created by Thor? No, it doesn't. So you got to, don't use that argument as well, that analogy. Anyway, back to the book. 3, 2, 1. Okay, this guy's driving through the pass very, very carefully. Oh, that's kind of fascinating. I actually quite like it. Okay. You say, maybe natural laws would do it if we give them billions of years. No, they wouldn't. Why? Because nature disorders. It doesn't organize things. The fact that nature brings things toward disorder is another aspect of the second law of thermodynamics. More time will make things worse for the Darwinists, not better. How so? Let's suppose you throw red, white and blue confetti out of an airplane 1,000 feet above your house. What's the chance it's going to form an American flag on your front lawn? Very low. Why? Because natural laws will mix up or randomize the confetti. You say, allow more time. Okay, let's take the plane up to 10,000 feet to give natural laws more time to work on the confetti. Does this improve the probability that the flag will form on your lawn? No. More time actually makes the flag less likely because natural laws have longer to do what they do, disorder and randomize. What is different about the origin of the first life? Darwinists might say that the second law of thermodynamics doesn't apply continuously to living systems. After all, living things do grow and can get more ordered. Yes, they grow and get more ordered, but they still lose energy in the process of growth. The food that goes into a living system is not processed at 100% efficiency. So the second law applies to living systems as well. But that's not the point. The point is, we're not talking about what something can do once it's alive. We're talking about getting a living thing in the first place. How did life arise from non-living chemicals without intelligent intervention when non-living chemicals are susceptible to the second law? Darwinists have no answer, only faith. Okay. And again, Geisler and Turek have absolutely no understanding. Oh, sorry.
Is Frank Turek your worst enemy?
He's not my worst enemy. He's just I actually like him because he gives me a lot of content to think about. You know, so I'm just going to move my mic 2 secs. No, I don't hate Frank. Frank Turek is not my enemy. He's actually given me a lot to talk about. So I should send him a Christmas card one day. Merry Christmas from an atheist you've never heard of and you don't care about.
No, send him a coffee cup and say, I'm offended.
Yeah, actually, that's an in-joke between me and my son and my family. Oh, shiver, sorry, that's right there. Yeah, this is the thing. If there was absolutely no scientific progress about the research into the origins of life, I would go, yes, Turek and Geisler have a point. But they don't. They have completely ignored the things like the Urey-Miller experiment, things like, again, like amino acids on comets, the Lemsky experiment. There's just so much that they've ignored. And this is exactly what you reach. But this is exactly the conclusion you reach when you have a preconceived conclusion, and 2, you use an unscientific book to reach that conclusion. So I read a couple of paragraphs in there. The second law of thermodynamics doesn't exactly say that that things tend towards disorder. What it says is that the amount of unusable energy in a closed system will always increase. But that's not necessarily disorder. You got to get that. You kind of got to get that right. And because they haven't got it right, it's just. Firstly, the Earth is not a closed system. The Earth gets a lot of energy from the sun in terms of heat energy, but also there is radiation coming in from other sources as well. So you just got to be mindful of that. So yeah. So if. Yeah, just trying to think like this whole idea that if you drop confetti and it forms a flag, I know what they're trying to do, but it's just really bad. It is just a really bad analogy. Really bad analogy. Yeah. 2 seconds. Okay, so the Warm Reading Sun just asked about the book. What is he speaking about? He's trying to prove that atheism is a faith, and that because of the impossibility of the origin of life and of the order in the universe, he's saying that therefore there is a God, and therefore atheists, and because atheistic explanations can't explain things better than the God hypothesis, therefore he doesn't have enough faith to be an atheist, which is...
Can you translate that to non-nerd language?
That's probably as simple as I can get it. Okay, so Chups, yes. Now, if I come with a good reason why that analogy doesn't work, I will. But yeah, but like saying that taking the plane up 10,000 feet equals more time. No, that's not what we're talking about. And again, I just have to say that if you look up the technical literature on abiogenesis and the origin of life research, the only people who push a intelligent design / the theistic agenda are people who already believe who are trying to push religious baggage down the line. The closest you get are like extraterrestrial panspermia proponents. That's not anything I necessarily promote. I would say that, yeah, given that, like, just like the whole idea that complexity equals intelligence is completely wrong. For example, fingerprints. The old adage is that no two people have the same fingerprints. I think there's actually like a 1 in 5 billion chance two people, something like that. But given that fingerprints are so complex that you have to find billions and billions of people who have the same fingerprints. But there's nothing intelligent about fingerprints. Fingerprints are just a result of the inherent properties of skin and DNA and all that kind of stuff. So you've got to that's one way of looking at it. Or if you look at a fetus developing, there is no intelligence putting that baby together. It is all just chemical reactions happening to form the components of the cells. So then you could go back to how did it start? And I agree that's actually a pretty interesting question. But but we have to watch out for the fallacy that just because you can't explain it down to the nth degree, therefore it is because of intelligent design. Well, no. Firstly, and I will refer back to Kitzmiller versus Dover, and I think episode 20, where episode 30, where I spoke to Glenn Bryant from the National Centre for Science Education. Check it out; it's an interesting interview about Kitzmiller versus Dover, where they found that intelligent design is not science. It doesn't produce any testable claims, and it is impossible to extract intelligent design from its religious forebears. Boom. And an American flag is not... Okay, so the whole idea that... So I think one of Turek's problems is that he sees DNA as being like something that was like modeled together, so something put together in a lab, something that was, like specifically engineered. But no, DNA is just simply proteins and chemicals and amino acids stuck together. It's not a... it's not a... How can I say... It's not a thing that makes sense from a human perspective, whereas a flag is something that makes sense from a human perspective, but DNA isn't. We've had to discover DNA and go, oh my god, that's pretty complex. But it's not something that, we would necessarily have come up with. There's that there. But yeah, things do get more... I don't like the word ordered, because you have to kind of define what order is, and I don't know what order is. And yes, I'm just reading the sentence here. After all, living things do grow and can get more ordered. Yes, they grow and get more ordered, but they still lose energy in the process of growth. But what is order? This is the thing I hear creationists say a lot is, how do you explain the order in the universe? Well, what do you mean by order? Like complexity? But you don't necessarily need intelligence for complexity. You just need to have the right boundary conditions and the right systems to generate that complexity. It's not necessarily a function of an intelligence. So it's bad arguments. Yeah, I'll go back to the book, and the other thing I wanted to pick up on was where he says Darwinists. He uses Darwinists as a pejorative for anyone who accepts the theory of evolution. But the problem is that not all atheists accept the theory of evolution, and not all Christians reject the theory of evolution. Professor Kenneth Miller, Dr. Francis Collins, just trying to think. Yeah, there's a few. Dr. Theodosius Dobzhansky. There are numerous Christians. Dr. Mary Schweitzer. And the reason that name came up to me was I was listening to a thing about her where creationists quoted her research to say that she found blood and soft tissue in a dinosaur bone. So, poor, if Mary Schweitzer had $1 for every time a creationist misquoted her research, she wouldn't need to be a research scientist. Anyway, back to the video back to the video. I am the video. What are you talking about?
Yay!
3, 2, 1. Oh, I'm a Gumby, aren't I?
Oh my god, yes!
Thank you.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like, I feel so warm and
Okay, cool. Yes, it's 5:30 on a Tuesday night, and here I am reading a Frank Turek book. How good's my life? Anyway, give chance a chance. Can all the incredible specified complexity in life be explained by chance? Not a chance. Atheists and theists alike have calculated the probability that life could arise by chance from non-living chemicals. The figures they calculate are astronomically small, virtually zero. For example, Michael Behe has said that the probability of getting one protein molecule, which has about 100 amino acids, by chance would be the same as a blindfolded man finding one marked grain of sand in the Sahara Desert 3 times in a row. And one protein molecule is not life. To get life, you would need to get about 200 of those protein molecules together. That probability is virtually zero, but we believe the probability is actually zero. Why? Because chance is not a cause. Chance is a word that we use to describe mathematical possibilities. It has no power of its own. Chance is nothing. It's what rocks dream about. Yes, the good old nothing is what rocks dream about line, and yes, I've heard that a few times from creationists as well, especially creationists who have read Frank Turek. That's have to thank Frank Turek for doing that as well. But no, I agree that the probabilities are small, but the problem is that just because we think the probabilities are small does not mean that it's zero or that it's impossible, or that you have to remember that amino acids and stuff forming is not the end goal of of biogenesis. It's more of a result of the inherent properties of the of matter in the environment on Earth. And this is the thing. Now, I have heard the analogy that if you get, like 100 monkeys with 100 typewriters and leave them alone for 100 years, what's the likelihood that they would produce the works of Shakespeare? And I would actually say that under the right boundary conditions, you would actually get Shakespeare. So let me now. I have to thank King Crocoduck as another one. Another one for the record. So Professor Dave Explains and King Crocoduck and Genetically Modified Skeptic. So you can tell who's on my who I subscribe to. But yeah, so King Crocoduck explained it pretty well like this. It's not that you have 100 monkeys with 100 typewriters and they just sit there banging away. It's not just that, but you have to have the right boundary conditions as well. You have to have the right settings that... And one of the problems with the chance argument is that it kind of pretends that there's absolutely no boundary conditions and anything could happen. Yeah, like a young boy could grow a goat's head out of his back at any moment because that's what random chance does. No. It's like gravity will stop working. You have faith that the laws of nature the laws of physics will keep working tomorrow. It's just dumb stuff like that. But no, King Crocoduck explained it like this, in that let's say you have 100 monkeys, 100 typewriters, and on those 100 typewriters, you have 26 capital letters, 26 lowercase letters, 10 numbers, and a whole lot of punctuation marks. So let's say you have typewriters with 74 keys on them. What you then do is, let's say the goal is to type out the first line of Hamlet, which is, I think, the tragedy of the... Actually, what is the proper name of Hamlet? Let me just double check what it is, because...
Daddy, I'm finished with Hamlet.
Okay.
What do I do now?
Listen to me read. Okay. So the full title of Hamlet is The Tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. And yeah, so let's say you then have okay, so let's say the goal is to write The Tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, and let's say you have a system where you have 100 monkeys, and let's say they randomly press a random key. The ones that don't press the right key get removed and replaced. But the ones that do press the right key, they stay, and they're cloned, and their clones sit at the typewriter with a copy of a sheet of paper at the typewriter with the correct punctuation mark on, or the correct character on there. So let's say at the first stroke, they press the letter T. Press the capital T. So let's say 7 out of 100 monkeys press the capital T, and then other 93 are removed, and then in the choose which method you want, but let's say in the next second that those 7 monkeys are replicated to replace the 93 that have been removed, then and those new 93 monkeys have a copy of their parent sheet. So now you have 100 monkeys with the capital letter T. Let's say that the next key press is a lowercase h. So again, 7 monkeys press lowercase h, 93 get removed. Those 7 monkeys that press the right key will then be cloned, and the new 93 monkeys will all have a piece of paper in their typewriter with a capital T and a lowercase h. Then again, they press lowercase e. Let's say 7 monkeys on average get it right. Yeah. So with those boundary conditions, you would actually get, the tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, and the idea that the monkeys that didn't survive is analogous to natural selection. And the monkeys that did survive and clone themselves and give a copy of their correct sheet to their offspring, that is genetic replication. So the right boundary conditions, you would actually get the tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. You're almost guaranteed to get it with the right conditions. So yeah. Anyways, that's how you explain evolution in a nutshell. As explained by an astrophysics PhD candidate. So anyway, where are we? Ugh, yikes. Do I want to read that? No, I don't feel like Frank Turek, more Frank Turek today. I've already read for 35 minutes. Anyway, I've been Damien, the tall friendly atheist dad, host of the Tall Friendly Atheist Dad podcast. Check me out on whatever platform. YouTube, I've got 100 videos or so of me randomly reading books and ranting. Podcasts, check out the podcast. Contact me on Twitter and Facebook, so yeah, TF80pod, and tallfriendlyatheistdad.com. But until next time, look after yourself, stay safe, be kind, give your kids a hug, and eat more celery. Hey, what's that thing that woman said? Eat your vegetables!